Now, Peggy, every year we are told that road crashes are the leading cause of death for young people ages 5 to 29. And your organization focuses on child road safety. What are the biggest risks for young pedestrians on South African roads?
First of all, we need to understand the child's profile in traffic. Children in their bodies are more vulnerable than adults are. Their bones are still growing strong. They are smaller in stature. So a vehicle's bumper is there where their vital organs are. For me, as a lovely tall adult, is where my legs are. It's easier to fix a leg than a ruptured spleen. Also, children do not have the ability to assess risk. Child at birth have no concept of what is dangerous. We teach that to them over time, but it is also linked to brain development in the prefrontal cortex. So children under the age of 10 cannot be held responsible for their own safety. And when they walk to school as young as 5 years old on cold, dark winter mornings, you cannot expect them to keep themselves safe. They are impulsive. They do without thinking. Those abilities needs to be developed still. So children are incredibly at risk. In fact, 68% of South Africa's children walk to school. That is an enormous amount. That is in informal settlements and in rural areas. And roads need to be upgraded. Pavements need to be upgraded. Road maintenance need to be upkept. But we also need those big things, but we also need instant solutions for children. Now, visibility is the best way to keep children safe while they are pedestrians. Because children are at risk in the mornings when they go to school, in the afternoons, once they're out of school and parents are not home yet and it's starting to get dark, and over weekends. We have a campaign called our Halo Beanie campaign, which is hand-knitted beanies, all crocheted by gogos in the community for the children in the community. The gogos are then the ones to ensure that the children wear it, because everybody knows that the gogos are part there. I'm going to send this around for you to have a look at it. It's ordinary wool knitted, but there's a strip here where reflective yarn is incorporated. So how it works is that a company sponsors a beanie pack. We put a bag together with enough wool, reflective yarn, knitting needles, crochet hooks, patterns, brochures, everything that is required to knit 100 beanies. The gogos knit and crochet, and we hand it over to a creche or a preschool in the community. And that is how it works. I'm going to pass it around for people to have a look at. So visibility is key, but we also need a national school transport policy for our children, especially in the rural areas where children have to walk on main roads to schools. And those roads, they don't share just with motorists, but with trucks as well. So there they are, your little kid in a dark school uniform on their way to school. The truck drivers and vehicle drivers don't see them. And that is why we have to make them visible. That is the quickest way to keep children safe. But then we have, as what each one of us can do, we can look at what our pavement looks like in our suburb where we live. Is our pavement pedestrian friendly, or do we garden right up to the road because we don't want people to walk on our pavement? We want to keep it pretty. I was called to by a lady in Eldorado Park, where a child was hit on the road, and the residents had started digging a trench to slow traffic down. But when I went there and I had a look at her, the first thing that caught my eyes was there's a wall built on the pavement. So the children had to go into the road and back onto the pavement. And that is where it is dangerous, when children and motorists share the same space. I do a lot of work in Alex, for instance. The sidewalks in Alex are no wider than this chair of mine. And there is usually a little spaza shop. There are rubbish. There's holes. So the children cannot walk on the side of the road. They have to travel across London Road, which is a double carriage throughway through the suburb, where raw sewage run into the road. And children have to cross that on a dark morning in dark school uniforms. Drivers don't see them. There are no safe pedestrian crossings in Alex itself, in the suburb. Children and vehicles and trucks share those narrow little paved roads, and it is extremely dangerous. And these kids know that it's dangerous, but what else do we do? There is nowhere else for them to play. There's nowhere else for them to walk that is safe.
You speak of 68% of school-going children walk to school. That's a very high number.
It's a high
also
number.
Given the fact that a lot of children between the ages 5 to perhaps, let's say 16, are the ones that are most vulnerable on our roads. So if the pavements are not there, the pathways are not there, the traffic lights are not working, and there's no law enforcement to assist, what practical ways can communities, parents, guardians do tools? What tools can you give them to ensure that at least their kids are safe on the road? And you gave us the fact that children, when they're a 10-year-old, is not old enough to walk themselves to school. And we know that children even younger than that walk by themselves to school. So what practical tools can you give communities in order to assist with the kids when they have to walk to school?
A great way to keep our children safe to and from school is an initiative called walking buses, where you have an adult in the front, the driver, and an adult at the back, with visibility gear, with paddles that you can hold up to stop traffic, and you walk your children safely to school. And you have a route like a normal bus would, and you stop, and the children get on the bus, and you walk them to school, and then safely home. Because then our children are safe not just from vehicles, but there are other predators as well that we need to keep our children safe. Our children are vulnerable not just for road crashes, but for all kinds of other predators, and I don't know. Yeah. I don't need to go deeper in it. We know what happens. So walking buses is something that is very easily implementable in every society. In every society, there are adults that can walk our children to and from school and keep them safe. What is typically needed is reflective vests for the adults at both ends. They need a whistle, and they need a paddle so that they can, when they need to cross the road, they can hold up the stop sign to show motorists that they are now going to cross safely with children. The other thing that needs to be done is safe pedestrian crossings at our schools. We need that raised pedestrian crossing. We need the signage. We need scholar patrol. Things to think of when we design schools is put the entrance of the school on a side road and not on the main road. So the children walk into school and get out of school where it is quieter. Appoint a road safety officer at the school. Every high school already has a safety officer. Include road safety. Train them on what can be done, what needs to be done, and then equip. The RTMC has written a beautiful manual on scholar patrol that gives you what is required for every type of road and intersection that you can find. How many scholar patrols, what's the equipment, what needs to be done, the training, everything is in it. It's available on their website. It's available on our website as well. What we need is the equipment. What we need is the road markings, the road signs. So all these things are in place. It needs to be implemented, and we need funding to make sure that we can do these things. And then on top of that, I know we're talking here about walk safely, but we have to talk about a national school transport policy, while I have the ear of you all, to make sure that our children, because even a child on a bus needs to get off and walk